Hi, and welcome to College Planning Untangled, where we help families simplify the college planning process. I'm Kristin Clark. I am the CEO and founder of College Planning Untangled, and I help students figure out a career path and the right education path for them based on their goals. And I'm here with Bobby Hood, who does our ACT and SAT tutoring to students. Bobby, how are you doing today?
Oh, just great. I saw a lot of people posting school had started for their students this week. So just lots
It's
of exciting times.
It's always a fun week. I saw a
Hmm.
really neat post on YouTube from Kim Mensch. She's a parent coach about
Hmm.
what parents are going through. We always focus on the kids and what they're going through, and she's
Hmm.
got her last one going off to college. It's a really good message,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
just about how hard it is for us too, but we're trying really hard to let them go. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So, Bobby, today we're going to talk about acclimating to college.
Ooh, great. Yeah. So this is our Hard Things Are Not That Hard series, right? And so it seems like, everybody's scared of starting out in college, right? And scared that it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, and it's change. And
Hmm.
anytime we're changing and doing something new, it's hard. And I think from listening to my clients, it's more about the unknown for them
Hmm. Sure.
versus just I'm changing and I'm doing something new. Because I mean, these kids they're excited, but they're also just scared.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I remember, going from junior high to, middle school to high school, like it was hard even to find classes and stuff. And it's, a factor of 100 when you go to college and there's a whole campus and you got to find things and you got to figure out how to get from one class to another in time and all that. Right. So it all just seems hard at first.
Well, and everything changed.
Yeah.
When you think about it, when you're going from grade school to high school, you
Yeah.
still get to go home at night, sleep in your own bed.
Hmm. And there's
College,
people,
all that.
and all that. Yep.
Yes. And quite honestly, Bobby, I don't think that we prepare students nearly enough for this transition.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I remember, going, oh my gosh, this is going to be so exciting. It's the
Right.
best time of your life. And you forget that first year is
Mhm.
really hard.
Absolutely. And we always come back to it, but this is the statistics are that a lot of students don't come back after that first year. And a lot of students, have trouble. And then if they're gonna graduate, it's gonna take them longer than 4 years. And that's where things start getting really expensive. So yeah, let's talk about like, okay, what are the things that people think are gonna be hard, but actually aren't that hard if are prepared, if you know what to do.
Yeah. So, and, the first thing that I think of
Mhm.
is this whole idea and of making friends.
Yeah. Oh man. You think, how am I going to make new friends, right? How do I do that? Right.
Yes, or if they haven't thought about it, if your student
Hmm.
hasn't thought about it and they get to college and now all of a sudden they're looking around and going, whoa, I didn't think about how I was going to do this.
Hmm.
So, and I will tell you that this is probably the biggest make or break, Bobby, of anything in college is finding new people. And the first step that kids need to take on this,
Hmm.
I'm going to go back to this, isn't this hard, but it's get out of your dorm room.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
students who are shy and hide in their dorm room, like it's easy to do, right? You do it for a couple of days, and then now it's been more than a couple of days. It's been a few weeks, and then, man, yeah,
Yes,
just
and with all the dorms going to the separate, like bedrooms,
mhm.
it actually studies have shown that that's actually tougher on kids than the
Oh,
ones that have to
absolutely.
sleep in the same room.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not sitting there, just talking randomly, right? You have to actively come out of your bedroom into the common area in order to talk to people. Yeah, absolutely. And so it's just get out of your dorm room and then walk around and then, and also look at for things you can join or sign up for, right? Groups and things like that. But mostly just being present and your face out there on campus, right?
Yes,
You're just going to randomly find yourself talking to people.
and
You
I'll tell
won't
you,
realize it.
I've got a trick for parents to
Yeah.
tell their kiddo if they're having an issue, right? If they're like, "Oh my gosh, mom, I don't know how to meet people,"
Hmm.
have them take out a stack of sticky notes,
Hmm.
write on there, "Hey, going to a movie tonight at 7, meet us at room 422, Kristin and Bobby."
Oh,
Obviously, we're
wow.
rooming
What a
together,
great
but,
idea,
well,
right?
so here's the deal, they don't have that issue of they're just going and putting the sticky notes on the front doors of
Mhm.
everybody on their hall. Anybody that shows up, great. Anybody that doesn't, that's okay,
Yeah,
and now you've got a group of people going.
yeah. Absolutely. Right. And you don't have the pressure of asking or getting turned down. Absolutely. And it's just a random group and you just go do something low impact, like, yeah, go see a movie or whatever. Right.
Right. And as we all
Perfect.
know, everybody's looking for something to do.
Right.
And having somebody do the olive branch first is huge.
Absolutely. And the funny thing there too is you might pick up some of the other students who are scared to come out of their rooms
Well,
too.
that's what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, like you're gonna meet a more diverse crowd that way instead of just looking for the people who look just like you or dress just like you or whatever, right? I think that would be a great idea. Yeah,
And by the way,
absolutely.
you now are the coordinator and you look like the leader, and people are going to
Right.
kind of be drawn to you anyway because they're like, well, she did all this stuff.
Oh wow, then they're gonna come and say, okay, what's the plan next week? Right. And then
Yes.
suddenly you find, because this is part of that thing too, is that, you know, you can remake yourself into whatever personality you want to be in college, but you have to just go do it, start acting like it, right? So you might have been always the follower in high school, right? But
Yeah,
in college, you can decide to be, the coordinator, right? Even
absolutely.
if you never got to do that, and you might have wanted to with your friend group in high school, but now you can be, and it can change everything about how you think about yourself, because that's just simple things like that can say, oh, I can be whoever I want to be, right?
Yes. And I'll tell you one thing I did, Bobby, is I changed from being called Chris to being
Yeah.
called Kristen in college.
Mhm.
And it kind of was a trigger for me too to go, you're
Yeah.
now Kristen, right?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
It's
Little
so hard to
things.
do with people you've known for years, but when you're starting fresh, yeah, you can have them call you whatever you want, and
That's
that's
right.
a big thing. It changes everything about how you behave, right? Like, how you present yourself, right? When people are calling you by the name you'd actually prefer to be called. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
But the
so
big
what's
thing
an
is
oh, yeah, go ahead.
make sure they get out of that dorm room. That is, and I know that sounds
100%.
silly, but it's a big deal.
That's the first step, is just getting out there into the sunshine, walking around. Yep, meeting people.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, what's another thing that people think is too hard?
Time management.
Oh my gosh,
And I'll
right?
tell you, students suck at this.
Right?
They just do because they haven't had to manage their own time before.
Yeah, between teachers and parents, kind of, and coaches managing your time for you, right? Uh,
Yes.
Everything was
Yeah.
deadlines. You never had any downtime in high school, really, right? You're just always running from place to place. But in
And now you've
college,
got all the time.
way more time than you could imagine, right? And
Yes.
it's and yeah, and so it's like, well, what am I going to do? And I remember the semesters where I had more classes and was busier and was involved in organizations. I did a better job of time management when I was busy, but those semesters when I had really light course loads, that was very dangerous because it was very easy to just not manage your time at all, and then you never do anything,
And you
right?
get lazy.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah.
So how do you
And
fix
that
that?
all goes back, and Bobby, I would tell you this.
Yep,
Kids all want to do this electronically because that's
yep.
what they're used to.
Mhm,
There is a beauty in the paper time management
mhm,
that if you find when they come home for break or whatever,
mhm.
you don't have to be on this right now, but get them a regular paper time management piece.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to call
absolutely.
it anymore, a daytime or whatever, right?
Yeah, just one of those little, calendars, and, like, whatever it is, right? Just a little handheld, or it can be big, it can be little, right? And absolutely. And I mean, and I would say, like, students who are in high school, if you have, a good, like, task calendar stuff on your phone or whatever, yeah, use that too, right? But man, a paper one is really key, because there are a lot of times you're in class and they don't want you pulling your phone out, and, like, you want to be, just have that thing spread out in front of you when you're in class, and that way
And
you can
especially if you're
keep track of
struggling.
your day.
Yeah, if
Absolutely.
you're struggling.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
last
Paper
one
will help.
the last one is this. A lot of students are
Mhm.
thinking that classes are gonna be hard, and they're
Yep.
worried about that. So one hack that I would have your student do is this: have them schedule a half hour after each class and
Mhm.
just write down everything that they learned. This is
Absolutely.
for two reasons. It's for studying later, where they've got very clear notes on what they
Mhm.
learned, and they're succinct. The other is this idea of sitting afterwards and writing down. Again,
Mhm.
it's your brain to your hand. Writing down what you learned is
Mhm.
going to be key for remembering it.
That's absolutely what students don't realize, is that you finish a class session and you think you're going to remember all the things you just learned. You absolutely will
You
not.
don't, right? You don't.
But that thing of right after class, go sit down somewhere and take some time to write down the things that you learned. And then you won't have to study nearly as much, right? And you won't have these nightmare times where you have to like catch up on it. Absolutely.
Yep. It goes back to, Bobby, hard things are not that hard. We gave you
Absolutely.
3 really easy things to acclimate to college and to help your student do. So if you've got any questions about College Planning Untangled, about Bobby's coaching, or anything that we just talked about, reach out and ask us. We have great resources if we can't help you.
Absolutely. And next week we'll be continuing this series and we'll be talking about choosing your major, right? So that'll be a great
Yeah,
conversation next week
near
as
and
well.
dear to my heart.
Absolutely.